So now let's go ahead and talk about designating deposition transcripts. And so if I click here to this Browse Clips tab, I can see the various designations and transcript issues that I have already created for this document. And so if I open up and expand that, I can see I have two different types of designations here, my defense initial and my plaintiff counters. If I had transcript issues, they would also show up here. Transcript issues are different from designations just because designations are generally things that get shared with opposing counsel, or at least the page numbers and line numbers of them, while transcript issues are more for internal use, just for your team. And so if I go ahead and select my defense initial, here's a list of all the things that I've designated for that purpose. And I can go ahead and click on any of these to go ahead and jump to that page. I can see if they are regular designations, they will show up over here on the left-hand side. And if they look like this little exclamation point, you will see that they have a note. And if you mouse over it, you can see what the note is. We'll talk in a second about why that note might be important to add, even if you don't need a note with it. It helps make one of the reports that we're going to pull a little bit more legible. So again, you can kind of click through and see any of your designations. This one just has the dots, so there is no note, and it'll tell you that. If I go back to my page 25, I can see I not only have my defense initial designations made, but I also have a plaintiff counter over here. And so you'll notice that your objections appear on the right-hand side over here, and your regular designations appear over here on the left. If I want to go ahead and create a new designation, and let's go ahead and jump to the next page where there isn't any designations already, we'll go ahead and create a new type, which is just the plaintiff initial. And so I'm going to go ahead and, I think this question is important, I will click any of the text on that line. If I were to have clicked over here, it wouldn't have worked, down to any of the text on the last line. So again, if I click over here, it doesn't do anything, but if I click on the word, it will work. And now I can see I've designated from this line to this line, and it appears up here. I could also just go ahead and type those page numbers for the start, line number for the start, page number for the end, line number for the end. And again, we're recommending that you go ahead and make a note, even if it's a period or an underscore, just to have one in there, and I'll show you why in 1 second. So if I go ahead and click submit there, it's going to create that designation, and now I can see it over here. And if I mouse over, I can see my little period, but now this is all appearing as a plaintiff initial. And I can see now I have that as an option here where I can pull up my designation just like that. I'm going to go ahead and pull that report now that I was talking about. If I go to my reports tab right here, you can go ahead and create a summary PDF report, which is just going to have all of the lines of text that you've designated for any of these types. Any of the types that you select, and it'll put it all in one PDF. So we've got all three of those selected. If you include notes, that's going to be a good idea. In 1 second, we'll show you why. And so I go ahead and click export, and then that will appear in 1 second. Okay, it's done. It downloaded for me. And so I will bring it over here. And the first thing that you'll notice is that you have your color codes here for what different designation type that you have. And then as you go down, you can see them. And so, like I was saying before, like this will tell you that this is a defense initial, and it'll go through the text for you and show you what that looks like. If there's overlapping designations, just like we saw on that, on like page 15 or page 25, where you have an objection along with your regular designations, it'll appear as both of those. So you can see the lines going down for where it was. And both of those have that. If it starts halfway through, it will just add that in here like this, and it'll look like this. So let's go back and we'll try to add one more designation without the note, and we'll rerun that report and we can see what that looks like. So let's go ahead and make another plaintiff initial designation. Let's go ahead and get this question. Actually, let's go to the next page. We'll do it on the next page. Bad example. All right, so here's a question, and here is an answer, and we will go ahead and add all of that. We'll go ahead and make it a plaintiff initial, and we're not going to add a note this time, so I can show you the difference. Let's go ahead and submit, and then let's go ahead and rerun that export now. Okay, it's going to take just a second. Okay, it is ready. Bring it over here. I can see my color coding again, and let's just go ahead and skip to the end. And so what we see here is you see your plaintiff initial on page 26 that goes down to here and ends, and you can see that it's labeled as plaintiff initial because you have that note of the period. If you don't do that, it's just going to color code it with that blue, but it won't give you that header. So if you want that header to appear in this report and you're going to use it, just make sure that you add that note in there, otherwise there won't be that header.